And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the extended break, but we have returned with the final round of Group A. Here we are back with HomeStory Cup 26 with the finale of Group A. We were just waiting for some of these other rounds to finish up. Of course, we just wrapped up with NightMare versus Gumiho, and now we are here with NightMare versus SKillous. We have our PvP, and let us go. We are jumping right on in and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Whispers of Gold. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. It is NightMare. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's time to get your gamma going. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you believe will claim the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat. As we get into this, the chat was, of course, giving us some updates. We were watching as well during the downtime. But SKillous is knocked out of the tournament. He cannot advance on into the next round, as SKillous did go down 2-0 to Battle B. A crazy result. Crazy impressive result out of Battle B. He has been improving quite a lot here over the past couple of years, and for him to take down SKillous is a big win. Big win for Battle B. My condolences to SKillous. But what I will say is that there is still a lot on the line here, because NightMare is poised to advance on, but if NightMare goes out to SKillous, well then he can't be stopped, right? SKillous might not be able to advance out of the group, but he can knock down some of these other players along with him. So this series still has some weight behind it, still has some merit to it as well. Currently, the top three players are Gumiho, Lambo, and NightMare, and depending on how these how this round concludes, I mean, that will depend on who advances on and who does not. Oh boy. So here we go. We are going to be settling in. For the time being, we do have our PvP, 2-gate opener out of SKillous, 2-gate opener out of NightMare as well. You can see SKillous hiding his second pylon. It does skirt around the edge of the map, but if he does throw down a pylon, it looks to be potentially a fake proxy pylon. He could go for a Stargate here in the top right-hand corner of the map. We'll see if the probe sticks around. We'll see if we even throw down a pylon. True. Never mind. Never mind. Second pylon has been placed, so SKillous just scouting here on the right-hand side, just looking for any kind of crazy proxy setup here ahead of time. Meanwhile, NightMare throws down his own pylon in the main. So, second pylons have been placed. It's going to be double stalker for NightMare, double stalker for SKillous. So far, so good. Everything is looking quite standard. With a double stalker opener, we can be more assertive and aggressive. We'll see if we go for a third and fourth stalker behind this, and we do. There we go. Mass aggression here from NightMare. Third and fourth stalker. NightMare is going to be rallying across the map, and it's going to be up to SKillous here to survive the aggression of NightMare. Let's go. One base all in again. Speaking of aggressive start, one base all in. One base all in, and NightMare throws in a rover, throws in a gateway as well, so it's all or nothing for NightMare. SKillous is yet to piece together. Nicely done, though. He does get a couple of extra shots off here. He has the high ground. It's a good start for SKillous. Does zone back his opponent, getting even a bit of hold damage as well. Every shot does count. So far, so good. Army's going to be forced back. But again, the problem here is that SKillous needs some scout information. He needs some hallucinations. Does need to hallucinate across the map. For now, he has the sentries, but he is yet to scout. He does not know what's going on. He hasn't seen the lack of expansion. SKillous is freely expanding. Shield battery on the way. Nexus as well. And we're waiting for the hallucination. Waiting for that hallucination here. As NightMare is amassing up his army. He's building up and getting ready for that all-in. Robo is done. Prism is on the way. And here we go. NightMare, he's committed. Meanwhile, SKillous still doesn't really know what's happening. There we go. Hallucination now moving out, but it does feel like a very late hallucination. Thankfully, NightMare did follow up with a Robo into Immortal production. Good follow-up here out of SKillous. Likewise, second shield battery as well. Looks like... Oh, he cancels! No! He thinks he's safe, and now he knows. Now he scouts, and now he realizes his mistake here. He confirms one base all in, and he could have made use of that second shield battery. Oh boy. And we'll see if he can still hold on. We'll see if he can still pull this off. As the army does drop into the main, gonna be rotating over. The entire army does arrive, going for the Immortal. Nice force fields. Very nice force fields here out of SKillous. So far, it takes down 2 stalkers. A good start. Very good start. The army does fall back. More fortune was thrown down. Prism taking a lot of hits. Oh no! Prism goes down, and with that, SKillous he will hold. He should shut this down. The Immortal barely survives. 4 Stalkers left. Immortal goes down, but alas, at what cost? At the cost of the entire army. GG gets called, and SKillous survives and takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Who needs shield batteries? Yo, people were like, yo, Papi, without the shield battery overcharge, how do you survive? How do you defend? Mate, just focus on the War Prism. That's all you need. But SKillous, of course, sorry, NightMare did overextend. With that War Prism, took a lot of hits, did go down. Without that War Prism, no micro potential there for NightMare, none whatsoever. SKillous does shut down the all-in, and with that, SKillous takes a lead. SKillous does take a lead. Whew. And from here, we'll see if SKillous can take the 2-0. We shall see. So he needs one more game here to close it out. And again, NightMare may be a little bit overconfident with his play. Maybe a little bit overconfident there. Ooh, as we are going to be experiencing one of the older maps for the first time tonight. We have yet to really embrace either Abyssal Reef, King's Cove, or Neon Violet Square. Here for game 2. We have one of them. We are jumping into Neon Violet Square. It's time to get your pachinko going. Let's go. Time to pachinko it up, papi. Beautiful. As we are getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neon Violet Square, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Streamer Zone. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. Well, no ass, one more game is all he needs to claim the series. It is SKillous. And as I mentioned, SKillous, he may not be able to make it out of the group stage, but he can stop NightMare from advancing on. I'm unfamiliar with the overall scoreline that is necessary. I mean, there's going to be some math involved, determining who will make it through between Lambo, NightMare, and Gumiho. This final series, this final round 5, is going to determine that, of course, and we're settling it. Now, if you haven't been around since the beginning or since the early years of StarCraft or the early years of Legacy of the Void, you may not be familiar, but welcome once again to Neon Violet Square. This map was in the map pool back in 2017. That was the early days of Legacy of the Void. Some of the early years, I should say, as Legacy did drop in 2016, so it's been a while. It's been quite some time here. Fun fact, our first broadcast on this channel did feature Neon Violet Square. First broadcasts, even. Neon Violet Square, Abyssal Reef. Again, we started hosting our events in 2017. So, yeah, around this era. Around this era. Oh my god. The nostalgia, baby, the nostalgia. This is when we started casting. Meanwhile, one of the big features, of course, is the pocket base. You have a pocket third base available. Now, the important thing about this pocket base, one, I mean, proxies used to be very common, very popular back in the day. That was back in the Void Ray era, or proxy Void Ray era of StarCraft. It was a dark time, very dark time, but there's only 4 patches, only 4 mineral patches compared to the standard 6 patches. So because of that, there's less minerals available. Still a lot of gas, but less minerals. So this pocket base is a little bit less valuable than a regular standard expansion. Bear that in mind. Likewise, we have the pachinko machine. Of course, we have all these little squares that do make it a little bit awkward to engage here in the center of the map. That can come into play here if we do engage and we do get into the mid game. Until then, though, 2 gate openers. 2 gate opener here out of NightMare, 2 gate opener out of SKillous. So far, everything looking standard. Probe scouts do confirm the placement of the second pylon. SKillous expands, and NightMare should be doing the same. Another thing to bear in mind is that the rush distance by ground is quite long on Neon Violet Square, so this is a very large map. I mean, all the old maps that have been reintroduced are large maps. Abyssal Reef, King's Cove, and Neon Violet Square as well. So because that leads into standard openers, into more macro play, typically. Here we go. As it does poke in, Hallucination will shade into the main base and will commit to the shade. Boys are being pulled up. 1 probe goes down. The pick up so far here by NightMare. He gets 1 worker. He's looking for a second, and he will get one. Yeah, 2 probe kills for 1 adept so far. Good trade, or better trade for NightMare. Will shade towards the natural. Will even shade away. Oh my god, it does escape. So SKillous just a little bit too late here to wall off. And once again, unable to wall off. The Stalker was in position, which means more probes are going to be going down. Another, a 3rd probe falls. 3 probes for 1 adept. That is a worthwhile trade for NightMare. Behind this, you can see him setting up here for potentially the pocket base. May opt to go for another expansion. We'll see. It's going to be a Twilight Council follow-up here for NightMare. Meanwhile, Robot Opener out of SKillous. Robot Opener is typically a more safer way to play. Gives you access to early detection, early observers, early immortal production, and of course the Prism as well. So a much safer setup here by SKillous as he rushes into a very fast 3rd. There you go. I mean, this would typically be a greedy move here, and I mean, it is still greedy by SKillous, but it is also safe because of the pocket expansion. So SKillous, I should say, you can get away with these sort of builds. Meanwhile, NightMare does confirm. Moves in with Hallucination, he sees the pocket base, and he may respond with his own. As NightMare is now aware, he is down in expansion with that Hallucination. And we'll see what he goes for. For now, just working on Blink, throwing down his 3rd gateway. SKillous confirms that there is no pocket expansion yet. NightMare, because he has a faster Blink, he has map control, and this makes sense. He goes for the standard 3rd. Now again, because Blink is about to finish, NightMare, he can be active on the map and he can contain his opponent on this 3-base setup, and because SKillous should be being contained, that means that NightMare can take a more valuable 3rd base instead, and can take the pocket base as a 4th later on. So this 3rd base is going to be, again, it's going to provide a little bit more here for NightMare. Is settling in. Meanwhile, SKillous back at home building up his immortal counts. Again, just already building up those immortals. Working on charge, working on +1. SKillous is going to be more defensive, more passive. He's going to be stuck on his half of the map until all these upgrades kick in. Then he can move out. We mentioned before that NightMare has map control, and, I mean, as we say that, he moves out. He moves out, and again, his goal should be to contain. He shouldn't be trying to push in. Again, SKillous, he's very, very defendable here, or this map is very defendable on 2 and 3 bases. It's not going to be easy for NightMare to find some pickoffs here and there. The best he can hope for, again, is just contain. As he spreads out his army, saturating his 3rd. Getting to his own upgrades, War Prism's on the way. Hallucination gets eyes on the saturation. And you can see NightMare, he threatens a dive. It looks like he was trying to pick off the Observer. Oh! And he will. Oh, barely not. The Observer does survive. Whew. Thanks to the shield battery. SKillous does hold. Also, nice moves. He had the wherewithal to actually pull the Observer back for a little bit there as well. Does save it. NightMare going for a drop into the main. The army's not quite in position. SKillous, otherwise distracted. He's moving out as he moves out. NightMare moves in. Probes are going down. SKillous not ready for this. Losing 3, 4, up to 5 workers. SKillous, he's going to keep pushing. And he's losing far too much. He has to commit. Once again, some awkward movement here in the particular machine. Oh, God, oh, God. So work his way through. The armies can get congested here. So let's move out. Prism picks up. That's going to be 5 worker kills. NightMare has a massive economic lead. And SKillous, he's committed. It's all or nothing for the Blue Protoss. The shield batteries aren't ready. No shield batteries. And that's 3 Immortals. Immortals are pushing forward. They focus out the Stalkers. So far, I mean, SKillous, he is trading well, but here come the Disruptors. Yeah, Novas have arrived. Novas going to be going off. They do connect. They soften up the Immortals. Charge will dive in. Shield battery is done. The boys are being pulled. 14 probes go down. And the Immortals, they're so low. They're so close to being targeted down as well. NightMare, can he break out? Again, NightMare, he's even on workers. The expansion's going to fall. The Disruptors, they have reset their charges. They're coming in once again. Up. Oh my god. Nova doesn't go up. SKillous, he's focused down the Disruptors. 1 Disruptor left. Base goes down. SKillous, he can still pull this off. The Micro. He saved the Immortals for so long. The Prism finally going to be going down. War Prism falls. But SKillous, he's breaking through. Taking down so many Stalkers. He still has 3 Immortals. But no War Prism, no reinforcements. SKillous, he backs off. Whew, he does back off, and as the dust settles, I mean, SKillous, he's up a base. I mean, it's like half an expansion, half a base, but still has a base mining. Up in workers, he saved every one of his immortals. He didn't lose a single one. Oh. May have spoken too soon. NightMare going for a counterattack. The immortals are trying to race back home. Ooh. One immortal is going to fall. Never goes up. Two immortals fall even. Two immortals go down, but SKillous, he has so much more on the backline here. He's getting a 4th expansion, +2, blink. Prism has arrived, reinforcements on the way. The Disruptor, up! It's exposed! It's going to be targeted down. Disruptor does not fall. Oh my god, hopping up there out of NightMare, saves the Disruptor. Nova doesn't quite go up, Disruptor goes down. And NightMare, he's running out of steam. Very fast series here. Initially, I mean, game 1, NightMare went for the all-in. Here in game 2, we have a SKillous popping off with his own kind of 2.5 base all-in. At the same time, War Prism into the main. Zealous Warp in. Pylons going down. And SKillous is pulling NightMare apart. And GG gets called. It becomes too much to handle. And SKillous, he will take the 2-0. He will take down NightMare. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. SKillous, he takes a 2-0. NightMare, if you remember, when he scouted the 3rd base, he chose to be greedy there. He chose to expand, not just expand and take his own more exposed 3rd base instead of going for his pocket base, but he went for disruptors. What does that mean? He went for a bay. He rushed tech-wise into disruptor production. That means that, of course, he was more vulnerable early on before they really came into play. And SKillous, he cut workers. He went straight for that, again, what was that, 48, 47 pro ball in. He had less than 3 base saturation, of course. I mean, didn't have a full 3rd to take advantage of. And he hit NightMare just before the Disruptor was ready, just before the shield battery was ready as well. Disruptors, they came out halfway through the fight, so we saw that the Novas, they were a little bit lackluster. We saw one big connection on the Immortals, but the Immortals, they lived up to their name. They were immortal. They survived the entire fight. They got so much value. GG. GG, well played. A very impressive fight there. Very impressive timing from SKillous. NightMare barely was not ready for it. And with that, SKillous will take the series. And the question becomes, what does that mean for the group? What does that mean for Group A? We need to find out.